When you move on our roads in the evenings and when it is dark, you will notice that some areas have been lighted properly. But there are still a lot of areas in town and on our roads which don't have the right lighting systems in place. While some do have these lights, others don't have them at all. And there are those which have these lights and yet they are not functioning well. We looked into some of the causes of these poor lighting systems on our roads, and we came to find out that in those areas where lights have been mounted, there seems to be some problem with either the bulbs, which die early, or the whole lighting unit. For example, there are some solar lights which provide good adequate illumination during the evening, but when these panels have not received enough sunlight, they don't give light as they should. You would notice that some of these lights, instead of staying on, will be blinking on and off continuously. There are others which don't even come on at all. But these are just part of the issues with lightning problems on our roads, because there are some areas which become very dark in the evenings solely because there's no light available. Sometimes when you take a good look at the channels that have been in existence on our roads, you'll notice that these are busy areas and places where people frequently use. In places where it might be dangerous for a person to pass by, he would have to rely on a torch. He would have to shine his light in such a way that he'll be able to see around him to prevent robbers, thieves, and any dangerous thing from occurring. Light is a good thing. Light is good because it helps us to see and to see clearly what is in our path and on our roads. Without light, many people will stumble. Many people may enter some form of accident because they may not see clearly the things that are before them and around them. Some of our roads have all these street lights around them and yet they are not functioning. Now, before you go ahead to ask whose responsibility it is for the light to be on, we should all know that we all have a hand to play in this. There are people who may have installed these lights, may not have knowledge that they are now dysfunctional. As a citizen of the nation, you also have a duty to draw the attention of the officials to let them know that a certain street light is not working properly, so that those who have the power to do so will attend to them and make sure that light is on again. There are also those who can play a role in giving a bulb or two in a place where the problem has to do with the bulb. You may have enough money or enough funds on you to purchase a bulb, and though it may not be in your house, you may be saving somebody who may just be like you and who could have been you in a dangerous position. We can either voice out our opinions to those in power or bring out monies and fund ourselves. But note, when giving information about such things to the officials and to the government and those whose duty it is to make sure these things are functioning, there has to be a good procedure used to air out this information. Instead of going towards them in a complaining manner, you could go humbly requesting for help because these things are not functioning. The problem is sometimes people make the mistake of letting the people in charge know, but they give them this information the wrong way. They could go to them and it would seem like they are coming with anger, and because they are vengeful, those who receive these informations are reluctant to do their duties because of the manner in which they received the information. When you look at the way light functions in our environment, you know that it is something we cannot do without. Now, there are some areas on the road that receive light only because of the buildings and structures by these roads whose lights have been turned on. Though those are not the primary source of light on the road, those are what a lot of pedestrians and road users rely on to bring some light to the roads. This is because the street lights and all those other sources of light that have been put in place to give the road light are not functioning, and without these structures, the light in those areas will be very bad. Now, lightning also comes from the vehicles whose lights have been turned on, but these are not the types of lights that would be stable for a particular place all the time. Though cars have lights, their lights are for them only and are for the parts on which they use. So sometimes these roads may be lighted up due to the fact that cars are numerous and they all have their lights turned on. But when these cars are not there anymore, the place becomes very dark. We took a trip through the towns and went through some places to have a look at how things were. And if you could see properly, you would notice how dark the whole place was. There's just a couple of lights from some vehicles and some buildings, some stores, some shops, some structures which are close to the road. But apart from these structures, there's no light at all. There has to be a regular check being done to locate all those lights that have been faulted or badly damaged, and work should be done on them if these bulbs cannot be replaced. It is not in all instances that the problem is the bulb. There are some times where the issue could be from the wiring or from the pole which the light is being mounted on. There have also been some areas where these light poles have been struck down. We couldn't tell whether it was due to a road accident or if it was just some rogues on the road who decided to destroy these poles. It just didn't make sense to us seeing these poles on the ground. Some of them have been bent, some of them have been lying on the ground for a long time, and there's no action done to pick them up or to change them to give light to those places. Some people are even scared to use these areas because the darkness helps evil workers to go about their duties. When a place is very dark, the robbers, the thieves, and all of those people whose aim is to snatch money and things by force from others are happy and are pleased to lurk in those areas. When light and visibility on our roads is poor, they find a way to make rich sums from it. Because of this, pedestrians and other road users are advised to be very careful when using such areas. If you can walk in a company, then do so instead of walking alone. When you are more than one, and when you are in a company of other people, such thieves and robbers wouldn't be able to attack you and take what belongs to you, like when you are walking alone. You should also know that getting to the end of the year, these type of people go about very rampantly to make one way or the other get some income from someone or take something that does not belong to them. So especially at this time of the year, the road users and pedestrians are warned. Sometimes you could also give information to the police and to other security agencies that have been set up to alert them not only of the fact that these lights are not functional, but also of the presence of such people. Let them know that this is one of the bays whereby these thieves gather and where these thieves have and hold their operations. You may not see how you are helping yourself, but by collectively adding to a part of the solutions to these problems, you'd be saving the next person, which could be your own family member or even yourself. There are also those who can volunteer to bring some light or to make some purchases that may be helpful to such dark areas. And there are even those who can volunteer to be security forces just to be around those areas. After speaking to the right security agencies, they can let them know that they are willing to monitor those areas, and if the police could help them, things would go on well, so that we don't always put a burden on our police who have a lot of work to be doing. You should know that crime is always rampant in different areas, so we cannot expect the police to just know where to be at a particular time. If you can volunteer, or if an association could be formed to make sure that these types of areas are guarded, then the lives of innocents like women and children will be kept safe and will be prevented from harm. Light and visibility is very, very necessary. It is necessary to move us to the next level and also to keep us safe by knowing exactly what we are working on and where we are heading. There are some situations where some police vehicles are left in those areas just to shine a light and to give pedestrians the comfort that they are around. But this is not always the case, and it could be that though this police is around, this police may not be there all the time. You should know that some police people have to be on the move, so they can't be at one place to provide light and security when another more urgent case is needed elsewhere. Now, darkness is only possible at a particular period of the day. We all know from 6 p.m. to the next day about 6 p.m. the place is expected to be dark. So what we can do is we can find our best ways to look at those types of lights that don't need to be on during the day, because there are some places where it seems the lights are automated and they are in such a way that some don't even turn off when it's daytime. If these types of lights are and energy are kept during the day, then in the evening they could be used so that we don't have light going to waste and we don't put ourselves in the places where the most important times that need light are not gotten, and daytime where light is not needed, these lights will be shining. That is one way. Another way also is to check and see the time at which the darkness is more prone to occur. Then at those times we do our best to make sure lights are turned on. There are those lights that don't need to be switched on like the way a normal bulb would, but there are those that have to be turned on, and there are those that are always on all the time. Let us do our best to locate these areas that need the most lights and let's concentrate on them. Remember that even on our roads, though our car lights may be good, we need more than the car lights to be able to drive properly on the road. Thank you for listening. You can leave your contributions in the comments and let us know if there are any areas where you feel light should be very present, and let another person who could help have the idea of it, and let's help each other in the nation. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.